my career was in interior design. I was in the interior design industry for over 20 years. And then I went into real estate, and I was into real estate for just about, 10, 15 years. Very active, pretty athletic. And when I think back, when I was a young girl, I was a majorette, and I got into skating. I skated throughout my adult life. I was in competitive skating, won some medals. I played tennis. I was part of the San Francisco Tennis Club. I ran for decades, hiked, cycled. I cycled around, did a ride, century ride around Lake Tahoe when I was 55. And actually, that was the first symptom I had. I realized I had when I was up in Lake Tahoe. I realized I couldn't smell anything. It smelled beautiful and I couldn't smell anything. That was my first symptom. So it wasn't something that just happened. It just is very, very slow. And I didn't know what was going on. But yeah, and then 2 years ago, what happened is I had a hip replacement. And when I woke up, I couldn't move my foot. And I wanted to scream. I just, I couldn't believe it. I didn't understand what was going on. And evidently the doctor had damaged one of my nerves and created a drop foot. Drop foot is, I can't lift my toes. So you drag your foot. It's pretty ugly. And the only way I can walk is with a brace. So and I didn't know I had Parkinson's at that time. I knew something else was going on because I was slowing down. I couldn't keep up on the hikes before my surgery. I noticed that. I thought it was my hips, but I felt it was something else. But the doctor couldn't, he was just giving me B supplements that weren't doing anything. I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't cycle anymore. I couldn't get on my bike, and I didn't have the balance, and I was too stiff to navigate my bike. So it was
How
like
old were you at this time?
This happened 2 years ago. I was 70. I'm 72 now. So it was very traumatic, especially after I was struggling with my foot, and then I was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I was planning to go back to work right after my hip surgery, and my entire world just turned upside down. So when I went in to see the doctor and they tested you, there's really no test. You have to go to a specialist, a neurologist that specializes in Parkinson's, and they just do a lot of mind-body things and watch your walk, your gait, and how you are, and then they determine you have Parkinson's. And the only thing they could do for me, and at that time, actually, I was almost shuffling. I mean, I was walking so slowly. My trainer, before all this happened, would have me drop on the floor and get up, drop on the floor and get up. And I couldn't get up. It got to the point that as hard as I would work to try to get myself, stay in shape, I was losing ground and I couldn't understand what was going on. So I'm kind of going back and forth. But so the neurologist said, yes, you have Parkinson's. And the only thing they could do was give me medication, and they told me to exercise. The medication helped a lot. It started to wake me up. The exercise, I've always exercised. That's not even an issue. But what I didn't realize, this was a whole nother thing. This exercise for Parkinson's, and by the way, Parkinson's is the #1, the fastest growing neurological See, that's part of the Parkinson's.
Neurological.
The
You
disease,
still have a beautiful
actually
smile,
in the
though.
world, it's the fastest growing disease in the world, neurological. Anyway, so that's a serious statement, but I'm got a little humor in it. But so it's growing quite fast, and going into this class, it was much bigger than I ever expected. It was actually at the same gym I'd been working out for years. It was the same room that I was doing my yoga, my aerobics, and this time I walked into that room. When I just got to the doorway, I saw these people, and it's like they were just spastic, and their limbs were their arms were going everywhere. They didn't have any control of their legs. Some of them had their tongue hanging out, and I couldn't believe that I was walking into this. It was like a really bad dream, and I just wanted to turn around and run, but it was something that I knew I had to face it. I had to face this, and I had to get through it. And after that first class, I realized I was in the right place. She did all the right things and all the right moves, and I could see that's what I needed to do right now. So
Wow,
I've been part of that, and it's been an incredible struggle to stay ahead of this disease. And Parkinson's is heavy metals in the brain. And what it does is it's a disconnect between your brain and your muscles. So you might think, for instance, that you're going to walk and your brain, you just start to get up and your body doesn't move, or it moves and you don't want it to move. You don't have any control over it. And they're finding that most Parkinson's cases are caused by pesticides. And I have no doubt that that's exactly what happened to me. But they have no proof. But it is caused by pesticides, and Roundup specifically is part of that. And it's totally legal to still spray our plants and everything else with that.
How did you find out about the patches, and what made you decide to go ahead and try them?
Sandy, who was on last week, that talked about her MS, she's my neighbor. And ironically enough, we moved into the same little community at the same time. So we got to know each other. And she's my angel. She brought me the patches. She said, here, try these. I'm totally open to things. The doctors can't do anything. And we're pretty much on our own to figure out how we're going to navigate through this.
So what has happened since you started using the patches?
You know, I had them on for a while, and a week or so, and nothing happened. And Sandy came over, and I said, you know, nothing's happening. I wasn't sure what to expect. So she gave me some more patches, and after about 10 days, I started noticing more. I was getting more energy. And I thought, well, this is good. And then I noticed it kept getting better and better and better. And then I noticed everybody's Parkinson's is a little different. Mine, if I would bend over, was just, hurt. Felt like rigor mortis had set in. An explanation, an analogy of Parkinson's would be to take like these deep sea divers, and you drop them at the bottom of the sea, and they've got those big helmets and all that equipment, and you see them walking, and they're very, very slow. And that's how it felt when I was at the height. It was like I could hear things, I could hear people, I understood them, but I couldn't respond like normally. It was all like in slow motion. It was incredibly, it's terrible. But yeah, I noticed that now when I bend over, it doesn't hurt. Another thing that's happens is your balance is compromised. And I caught myself walking down my stairs the other day, and I wasn't even hanging on to the railing. And I thought, oh my God. And I stopped, and I thought, I felt like I used to, just walking down the stairs normally.
Wow.
It was a spurt of that. I thought, oh boy, something really is happening. It was like it was bringing my body back to life. That's what it was feeling like.
So how's your energy level?
It's really so much better, and it just keeps getting better and better.
And how
My
long have
sleep,
you been using the patches? I'm sorry.
I've been on about 7 weeks now.
Wow.
7 weeks.
You have more
So
energy. And
yeah,
are you exercising now? Has
yeah,
that changed at
I
all?
still do my Parkinson's exercise. Absolutely. Walking is another thing that I do. I can do that. I have poles that I walk with that help me a lot. Um, I'm noticing too that my focus and my clarity, as a lot of people have said, that so has helped me. And that's part of them having more energy is I can focus, I can get things done. And you know what I didn't realize was before I started these patches, I was in a really dark place. I was very, very depressed. And I was thinking about death. I just didn't want to go on. I didn't see what my purpose was. If I can't take care of myself, what am I going to do? Um, and these patches have like brought me back to life and have given me hope for sure.